In my last video, we went over sightings of cryptids in the Amazon. We talked about the mapinguari and encounters with giant snakes. In this video, I'm going to go over sightings from explorers and the natives about sightings of what seem to be dinosaurs. One sighting happened in 1921 by a native from Brazil. While this native, Alvaro, was exploring through the Amazon, he saw on the shores of a swampy lake a strange-looking animal. Alvaro had never seen anything like this before. He claimed that this animal was bigger than a cow, had green skin, it walked on two legs, had two tiny arms, glowing red eyes, and long razor-sharp claws. Now Alvaro lived in this region his whole life, so he knew that whatever this animal was something rare. So with his rifle in hand, he tried to shoot it, as he was hoping to kill it so he could show his people its carcass. But thankfully for this animal, he missed and it got away, and he never saw it or any of its kind again. Now many years later, Alvaro told a naturalist from Sweden who was there in the Amazon on an expedition, and this naturalist, Ralph, was really blown away by his story. So in 1966, Ralph included this sighting in a book of his, and to this day people still wonder, what did Alvaro really see? Did he really encounter an animal that could be a dinosaur? Or was he just making it up? Now whatever the case may be, there are many others who have claimed throughout the centuries, while traveling deep into the Amazon, to see an animal that they thought was a dinosaur. Another interesting sighting happened in the late 1800s, and this sighting was published in Scientific American, a publication that is still going strong today. Now in the mid to late 1800s in Bolivia, from time to time hunters and explorers that traveled deep into the Amazon would claim to see a strange, massive animal, an animal they had never seen before. And according to an eyewitness, one day a hunter saw this animal and he shot it 36 times, killing it. Now what makes this case extremely interesting is allegedly the president of Bolivia at the time sent this animal's dead body to experts. But just like all the giant skeletons that were unearthed in the Americas in the 1700s and 1800s, this animal's body was never seen again. And according to the article that was published by Scientific American, a professor did examine this body. And this professor stated that it was a rare animal from a lost species. Another expert said that it was an ultra-mysterious beast. There was even a drawing of this animal that was sent to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Brazil. But today, no one knows where this drawing is. Now this animal was said to be 12 meters long. Its head was similar to that of a dog. Its legs were short, had a long neck. Its belly was almost touching the ground. It also had razor-sharp claws with some kind of scale armor on its throat, belly, and legs. Now today, cryptozoologists believe that this animal could have been a dinosaur. And I wonder, what if the government later decided to hide this body, this information from the public, in order to save this animal from being hunted to extinction? Or maybe sadly it was just another hoax, a made-up story by publishers in hopes of selling more newspapers and magazines. Then there was a popular sighting in 1907 by two Western explorers, Franz Hermann Schmidt and Captain Rudolf Flang. According to these two explorers, on the 12th day of their expedition traveling through Peru, they saw on the ground massive tracks. And not just one, but a set of tracks. And they noticed these while exploring a shallow lake that was in an area that was extremely remote. Now these explorers were a bit scared, as these were massive footprints, but they were also excited about the possibility of discovering a new animal, as they knew they were in a place that was only known to the native people, and the natives in this area do have many legends about unusual animals, animals Western civilization has never seen before. Now the following day, while they were walking along the swampy lake, they started to hear monkeys just go crazy, and this kind of freaked them out. Then it got eerily silent for about 10 minutes. Then they saw in the distance something that blew their mind. They saw what they called a monster's head appear over bushes that were 10 feet tall. And as they stood there frozen in fear, they noticed that this animal's neck was long like a snake, but thick. Its eyes were small and dull, kind of like the eyes of an alligator. Now, as this massive animal moved around a bit, they saw its body and it was massive, and they stated that it was shaped like a beer keg. Its shoulders were thick and about 10 feet across. Another thing that shocked these men is that it had what appeared to be clawed flippers. Now, this animal was not afraid of them at all, or maybe it didn't even notice them. And their native guides were also shocked and terrified by what they were seeing, so they too must have never seen an animal like this before. And once Rudolph snapped out of his trance-like state, he decided, like every other explorer, to try to kill it. So he grabbed his rifle and shot it right between the eyes. But this gunshot didn't seem to really hurt it. So then Franz also started to shoot it. In total, they must have shot it 7 times. But thankfully for this animal, these gunshots seemed to just bounce right off of it. But it did start to get annoyed, and after the 7th shot or so, it plunged into the water. And as it moved away from the bushes, they were now able to see just how big this animal was, and it was massive. They stated that it must have been at least 35 feet long, and the natives were upset that it got away because they believed it was some sort of demon. Now, since this large animal was able to walk on land and swim in the water, I wondered, what if they were seeing an unknown animal, not a dinosaur? But to my surprise, there is one dinosaur that fits this description. And this dinosaur is called a Spinosaurus, and it wasn't even discovered until 1912, and not really even known until the 1990s. And this sighting happened in 1907. Now, these explorers stated that it could walk on land as they saw its tracks in the mud. It could swim in water with its clawed flippers. They also said that it had a bony back and was 30 feet long. This is an exact description of a Spinosaurus. Interesting indeed. Now today, most experts don't believe this story, but I do find it extremely fascinating how these explorers described an animal that wasn't even publicly known until the 1990s. One thing that is truly mind-blowing is that Native Americans have a lot of art that depicts dinosaurs, making cryptozoologists believe that some dinosaurs might have survived until recently. Or maybe some are still hiding from us in remote places, just like the Amazon. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned.